Baking a party, chocolate Barbie, waiting on me for a yo. In the back is Joe, I'm riding shotgun, the driver's unknown. 2 wheels, 2 men, 1 skank, pump head, let's see who gets home. Skeet, 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 see man run like I ain't involved. My main bitch is my flick, my side bitch is my stick. SA with that black blade, you hear 1 flick and get dipped. Blood drip off the dip, it's a splash thing when we grip. It's Harlem bitch, Spartans looking all Harlem-ish.
I really appreciate you joining me today, and this story comes from South London and it involves a drill rapper called MizorMac. My London newspaper has released a video and also reported about the fact that he's been jailed for 9 years on Thursday, June the 9th, for pointing a gun at a police officer in the Woolwich area in November 2020. His name is Mukhtar Khan and he's known by his stage name as MizorMac, and he's part of Harlem Spartans. I've covered Harlem Spartans on the channel several times over the years and we'll recap on some of that in a minute. He's racked up millions of views on Spotify for his songs, and when he first came out recently, he did mention the fact of his friends that he'd lost on the streets as well. And this is sadly something that even when you get success in music, you sometimes can't avoid the past and what had occurred. Khan is from the Kennington area, and himself and 3 others were accused of shooting an Afro swing artist called Midas the Jagaban, and also her manager in Woolwich on November the 30th, 2020. They were acquitted of attempted murder at Croydon Crown Court in April. After the incident, a police officer was threatened with a gun while chasing after Khan. PC Elwood chased after him on foot after officers were called to the shooting. He later told police that he feared for his life when he pulled the gun at the officer. On November the 3rd in 2020, around 3 a.m, the suspects went to a recording studio on Woolwich Church Street and fired 3 shots at a group, injuring a woman and also a man. The offenders left in a stolen car, and a dog unit found the vehicle that failed to stop and crashed into a parked car. 5 men ran from the vehicle, leaving behind 2 magazines containing live ammunition, 3 Rambo knives and also a machete. PC Elwood was chasing Khan and he turned around and pointed a Turkish Rete 9mm semi-automatic handgun at him, and also his dog as well. The officer kept on chasing him and Khan was arrested shortly after by firearms police in a nearby estate. The 3 others were Miles Brown, Joshua Fasaro and Don Juan Newman, and they were arrested by armed police. PC Elwood said when the gun was pointed at him, his instant reaction was to turn away in fear. I thought I was about to be shot. However, I continued to chase him, and he was a very dangerous individual and he needed taking off the street. He said the presence of the police dogs was instrumental, and one of the dogs found the discarded firearm and another one played a significant role in capturing one of the suspects. MizorMac was convicted of possession of a firearm and additionally convicted of possession of a firearm with intent to commit an indictable offence, and he was sentenced to 9 years. Miles Brown, 22 years old, was convicted of possession of a prohibited firearm and sentenced to 7 years and 6 months. Joshua Fasaro was also convicted of the same offence, but it was relating to another matter in 2019 where a revolver was found in a cupboard that contained his DNA. He was sentenced to 8 years and 6 months. Don Juan Newman, 23 years old from Oak Square, was convicted of the same offence and sentenced to 7 years and 6 months. All 4 of them were acquitted of the attempted murder, and a 5th man was never found, but attempts to trace him continue. Detective Constable Andy Brackley, who works in the Trident team, said this non-fatal shooting were the actions of 4 people who on that night were acting extremely reckless. We don't believe the 2 victims shot were the right people, and it was only down to sheer luck that the injuries were not fatal. Police last year seized 557 lethal firearms, and this is just another example of how things escalate on the street and how sometimes innocent people get caught in the crossfire. The judge can recommend that he serves the majority of his sentence, but he may serve just over half. We'll have to wait and see. But I really appreciate you joining me for this update, and I'll be back again very shortly. Don't forget to follow on Scarcity Studios on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter and Facebook, and I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Peace.